Here is the 2024 Kia Forte GT line in fire orange over black interior. The GT line is the sweet spot with features and aesthetics, but not performance. You would have to go to the GT. I'm going to go over the pros and cons and the problem that I have with the GT line. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and starting with the GT line, which is going to receive daytime runnings, that's LED, fog lights, and you'll have the satin aluminum that's going to brush into the tiger nose grille with the gloss black elements highlighted with the red, and on the lower bumper making it more aggressive because it's going to have the aesthetic package. So the front bumpers is going to be the GT line spec, but you're still receiving 5.3 inches of clearance, and the lower bumper gets the gloss black highlighted with the red pinstripe that goes into the air pocket. When you're thinking about Volkswagen, Honda, and Toyota, this is going to look the most sporty for the price point, but underneath the hood is going to be a sleeper. This is a 2.0 liter, 4-cylinder, producing 147 horsepower with 132 pound-feet of torque, paired to an IVT or intelligent variable transmission, which is basically a CVT transmission, and achieving 28 mpgs for the city, 39 mpgs for the highway, which is almost the best in class. This is going to be better than Mazda, Volkswagen, and Honda, but Toyota will be about 1 mpg more. Standard is a 16-inch wheel. This is the GT line, so it swaps it out for the 17-inch wheel. If you go to the full GT, that's going to be the more performance variant, and it's not going to be something like a Hellcat, but 201 horsepower out of the 1.6 liter turbocharged 4 cylinders, quite a bit for this small of a vehicle. And the pricing, because if you go to a Civic Si, that's going to cost over 30 grand. When you go to the GT, it's about 25, 26 grand, which is about $1,000-ish more than the one we have here, because we have the GT line premium package, which also gives you a little bit more features on the interior. When you get into the GT line, you're going to get the side rockers with the gloss black, side view mirrors, shark fin antenna, blind spot monitoring, and a smart key to get in, which simply pushing the button. The GT line also adds the gloss black rear spoiler, the grille pattern, and the exhaust look for the rear. Go to the GT line, you're getting dual exhaust, which makes it a little bit more sporty, LED tail lights. And going against Toyota, you go into a GR Corolla, that's going to cost nearly 40 grand. So you could buy his and her GT or GT line at those prices and get just as much sport, in which they offer a 7-speed DCT or a 6-speed manual in the GT. The GT line is more of the styling aesthetics, which brings me to the problem that I have. Because of the pricing and adding a couple features to the Forte, you're at maybe $1,000-ish less than a full GT, which is going to have a better suspension, better performance engine, better styling, and you're getting all the features, in which it almost makes this not a sweet spot unless you're looking to save on fuel. Quick release, going into 15.3 cubic feet of storage. It will sit up a little bit. Underneath the floor, get some storage. And you can split fold the rear bench in the back by pulling the levers. That's going to increase the cargo capacity, but you'll have a little bit of a lip from the way the cushions sit up. Six-way manual seat adjustment for the passenger and driver with the GT line, with the cloth and synthetic and the contrast stitch-in piping. Headroom and leg room. The GT line will get the sport pedals. It's going to be a little bit more sporty in the interior with the satin aluminum that's going to be on the circular air vents on the side, and underneath the upgraded 10.25 infotainment screen with navigation, which standard is an 8-inch. With Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Kia Connect, and quiet mode, which this is a smaller vehicle, but it will make it where only the front speakers are working, so that way if you have a child in the back, it will not hear the actual sound system. And when you're going onto here, you have a quick wedge that you can also tailor to open and expand. Putting into reverse, you get a reverse camera. The trajectory will expand out when you turn the wheel, and you have different camera angles to see around the back of the vehicle. Dual climate control settings. Standard is a climate control. The GT line premium package adds the wireless charging pad. Here's the key fob for the Forte GT line. USB ports, Driver mode select on the 4.25 information display that can go through a few things for the driver, including the turn-by-turn navigation. Harman Kardon upgraded sound system is also part of the GT line premium package. You got a little storage pocket here with the auto hold cup holders. This is pushback. It's a little bit more sporty. It's a smaller storage pocket, and the steering wheel will be perforated on the side. GT line badging, square bottom, multi-function with the gloss black. Door panel and dashboard integrate in together, and you get the gloss black elements that's going to highlight the top portion. It's going to be more sporty, one touch up and down only for the driver window, with a medium-sized storage pocket and a beverage holder carved out. No auto-dimming rear view mirror, and the moonroof is part of the GT line premium package, as well as the LED front interior lights. For the back seat's headroom and legroom, storage is only going to be behind the passenger seat with a net. No USB ports or air vents in the center. Cup holders with armrests, and you get the pattern in the back seat. Door panel will get the same materials that's found in the front, so the gloss black, and it's going to be more sporty, except you only have one beverage holder carved out. Sliding into the center, the floor is not flat. The rails are pushed up, so you're not going to be sharing too much feet space, but leg and shoulder space will be shared because the seats contour and you sit up higher, so headroom is going to be a little bit more of an issue for somebody that's 6'3", even though it's carved out for you in the back. 147 horsepower and 132 pound-feet of torque out of the 2.0 liter 4-cylinder engine. You are getting great MPGs. When you're tacking on the GT line and the premium package, you are getting close to the GT, which has 201 horsepower. The suspension's a little bit more athletic because you get the multi-link rear suspension, and you also have a 7-speed DCT or a 6-speed manual transmission. Here it's going to be the IVT, which is known as the Intelligent Variable Transmission, or a CVT, so it goes by gear ratios. You do sit low to the ground, so I like that. It does have more of a sporty interior opposed to the base trim. And here's the performance. Which it gets up to speed fine. But like I was saying on the exterior, it's so close to the GT that you just really want to save more or less on fuel. The road noise will filter in. Upgraded wheels is not going to be too much of a difference. I mean, a 16 to 17 inch wheel isn't going to change the ride that dramatic, but it will take me to my pros and cons. Starting off with the pros is ticking the box to the GT. You upgrade the infotainment screen, you're getting navigation, you get the push buttons on the door handles to lock and unlock the doors. It's a smaller vehicle, so you can maneuver in and out of lanes without too many issues. Even though it's a torsion beam, it still is okay. You're not really planning on taking this on a track or anything of that nature, but if you're going to be doing some corners, you will want to slow down a little bit with this particular variant. The seats are comfortable. It's going to be a little bit more sporty. You can fit 3 people in the back seat, and when you're considering the Corolla, that's not going to be the case. And that takes me to the cons. No charging ports in the back, no air vents in the center. Door panel is lacking in storage capacity. The trunk is quite well in the sense of storage capacity, but there isn't any bag holders, there's no 12 volt. Only interior lights are going to be in the front. I like the steering wheel. It feels very sporty, especially because it's perforated on the side and the flat bottom. Turn radius at more or less a stop point is going to get about 2 lanes. Let's see how that IVT goes again. Now, changing the modes into smart, you will feel the pedal getting heavy. And if you go into normal, it will basically engage the way you drive the vehicle. Not a huge fan of the IVT transmissions because you have to service them a little bit more frequently, about 30,000 miles, in order to prevent shrapnel from getting inside. And the reason why is because it is a belt and pulley system. So you want to change the fluid a little bit more frequently than a traditional transmission. In the DCT, it can have some problems too, but when you're thinking performance and you go to the full GT, 201 horsepower, That's quite a bit for this size of a vehicle, considering anyone in its class is going to be more money. The GT line, you're going to get a lot more inside, especially considering you're getting the upgraded infotainment screen. But then the way it is positioned, it just kind of comes out of the dashboard. They could have made it a little bit more seamless. It is starting to get a little bit dated in the interior, but I appreciate how open the interior is because it feels a lot more wide in the interior than the vehicle actually is. And some other cons is it's a little bit harder in the interior than most of the competition, and the center armrest is pushed back a little bit more so, making it really just an elbow rest and losing leg space for the rear occupant sitting in the center. The steering is light, plenty of visibility. And when you get this fire orange, I think it just kind of pops a little bit more so, because if you do not choose the GT, people are going to assume this is the GT because of how sporty it looks. But the problem that will always come up is because of the way the vehicles are priced, you're at $1,000-ish less than the GT. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like, and I'd like to thank Regal Kia for giving us this 2024 Kia Forte GT line for our car review.